Welcome to the Milltown Sports Show.
Hi, my name is Connor Bird, CEO of Milltown Sports Incorporated. And welcome to the inaugural episode of the Milltown Sports Show. Today, even though it's the off season, we will discuss how we were founded, why we were founded, our mission, and how we plan on growing. With me is my co-host, Rhonda Bird, the founder of Milltown Sports Incorporated. Can you tell us a little bit about why you founded Milltown Sports Incorporated?
Years ago, I covered sports for the east end of Haywood County for the Mountaineer, and I did radio for WPTL. And what I decided was that a lot of the student athletes, including the middle school, the youth leagues and everything, needed to have an opportunity to be discovered and have the same amount of publicity as the varsity and everything. Because it's not about me, it's about the student athletes. It's about the kids that are out there playing hard every weekday or weekend or whenever they play. It's all about the student athlete, and that's what I want this show to be about, Connor, is about the student athletes that are playing for Canton Middle School, Bethel Middle School, Canton Youth, Bethel Youth, and even Pisgah Varsity and Junior Varsity. We want to cover all the sports on the east end of Haywood County, and that's what I want to do. But I want to do it in a way now through social media, because a lot of people don't like reading the newspaper anymore. They like social media, and the newspaper doesn't cover the sports like we can cover it.
Yes. So we're going to try to be at the majority of every game. And we will be there covering, and we'll give you on-the-ground facts. We plan on doing post-game interviews with players, coaches, sometimes fans. We will bring you a weekly podcast episode, and we're just going to be a lot of things to grow this community and work with this community to support four main groups of people. We want to support student athletes, coaches, parents, and fans. So that is our main goal, is support those four groups. And you can talk about a little bit what that means to you, Rhonda.
Yeah, it means a lot because, you know, my brother played on the 76 state championship team for Pisgah, and I've been involved in Pisgah sports. I still do the stats for Pisgah football on Thursday and Friday nights. I haven't been able to cover the sports like I used to since my husband was sick and he passed away. So now that I have a foster son, Connor Bird, that's helping me with this project, we've decided to reignite it. We built a brand new studio. As you see, our studio is fit for Milltown sports. We've worked on it very hard during the off season. We want to make it something that the fans will enjoy, that the students will enjoy, and that the coaches also can get a chance to, you know, do interviews. Tell them about the student athletes that are doing well and everything. And it's an opportunity for us to grow, and we'd like to grow. So, and we would like any feedback we could get from the fans and from, you know, the coaches and stuff. We will be doing a weekly podcast, but we're also going to do, coming up in the near future, will be a fall preview with the football team. I've already scheduled the time with Coach Brindley. We're going to go in depth on Pisgah football and give you fans all you need to know about this upcoming season.
Yes, and I wanted to make an opportunity to help support this program. So as Milltown Sports Incorporated and me as the CEO, we are looking for community local businesses or people who want to help sponsor our show and work with us to help us continue growing and continue doing what we need to do. And in return, we will advertise for you on our show and do other things to make sure you're acknowledged for helping sponsor our show. So if anybody would be interested, we'd love to talk to you and meet you if you could reach out.
We also have an email address set up for Milltown Sports. Connor, what's our email address?
It is Milltown Sports Inc. No spaces, just Milltown Sports Inc. at gmail.com.
Get in touch with us there if you're interested in sponsoring any of our show. I know it's new and you need to see what we can offer you first before you want to dole out some money, but you know what? It's only going to be about the fans and student athletes, and we're going to try to cover as many games as we can. We can't promise to be at every game because there's so many games going on. You've got volleyball, you got soccer, you got JV football, you got varsity football, you got youth league football, you've got soccer. I mean, you've got so much going on in fall, but we're going to cover as much. We will have scores for you. We'll have stats for you so that we can dig in depth to each game so that the fans know everything they need to know about the sports in the east end of Haywood County.
Another person I'd like to introduce you to is our Chief Advisory Officer, Chuck Feibernitz, who is also a longtime writer and editor at the Mountaineer newspaper and covered Pisgah sports for many, many years. Chuck, how are you doing today?
Well, I'm doing great. How are y'all up there in Haywood County doing?
We're doing awesome, Chuck. We sure miss you, and I know the east end of the county really misses you really a lot. You're editing your voice on the radio and everything, and it's great for you to be with us on this inaugural show of the Milltown Sports.
Well, it's an honor. I tell you what, it's long overdue. Somebody had to step up and pull the trigger and get something started like this, and to cover everything involved in the East End, Pisgah, Bethel, Canton Middle School, the youth programs. And I'm so tickled that you guys have started this thing, and I guarantee you, with the people that support all of the East End sports, the Milltown, it'll be a success.
I surely hope so, Chuck. You know, me and you've talked about it many, many times about how the coverage for the youth programs really needs to be a lot more than what it has been, even when you were at the paper. But there was so much, we were so thin and not enough revenue from the paper to pull everything off. And so I come up with this idea. Remember we talked about it years ago, covering the sports of the youth leagues and stuff.
I think we brainstormed and spitballed this thing from going to and from games. Many times we would drive and then coming back.
No, Chuck, you wasn't driving. I was driving because you about killed me a couple of times.
I understand. I about killed a lot of people. I still remember Kevin Medford one time, and your brother, the late Randy Pitts.
Yep.
I got a bad rap, but anyhow, that's just the way it goes.
Yeah, and I think Randy would be really proud of this venture as much as he loved the Pisgah program, much as he loved sports in Haywood County. You know, him growing up in Bethel and playing for Bethel and then going on to Pisgah. I think this would have been true to his heart.
Well, I mean, fans will be able to hear all what their sons or daughters are doing and get the chance to talk, listen to the coach and it'd be, most importantly, you guys are doing it right. It's all about the kids.
It's all about the student athlete.
Let the kids shine.
Mm-hmm.
Let the kids shine in that. It's not about the coaches, although they have to participate, but to get people to sit down and hear about all the wonderful things. And when some team in the Milltown sports area is doing well, you get to follow them. You get to hear about them. So you guys are doing a fantastic job to get this thing off and running. And so far it's closing in on the startup, and I can't wait. I just can't wait for it to get started.
And Chuck, I will say, I know me and you have talked a lot, and I want to go over your expertise. Is there certain things you're more, because we're going to have you on weekly, and is there more things you're more geared to? I know me and you, we love to talk baseball. I know you're a big Detroit Tigers fan. And you know the ins and outs of baseball. Is there any certain sports?
Well, Connor, sports fans are sports fans, and I'm in-season guy. What season is it? And I love that sport. It gives you a chance to break when you're into the fall, all the fall sports. Now, I'm the big three: football, basketball, and baseball. But I was never a softball, really enthusiastic about softball until I started involved with covering the Pisgah teams in at the turn of the century, 2004, early 2000s, and I just so to me it just depends on what sports in the season. I love to watch or hear about kids playing, and and you guys are going to be covering when and where they're playing. So people, getting off work going, hey, let's go stop by and watch that soccer match. Or let's go watch the girls basketball. They're undefeated over at Bethel. Not only are people enthusiastic about the middle or the high schools, but they get a chance for youth sports and the middle schools. And a lot of times you're like, you're driving by and you're going out and you're thinking, okay, let's go watch a Saturday youth football game. So it just depends on what the season is. And the people when I say the Pisgah area, that it covers all the Bethel and Canton Middle School. They're in-season people too, and they are. It doesn't matter as long as it's their kids. They're claiming of their kids and what is happening to their boys and girls, and they like to talk about that. They love to talk about the kids. So, but for me, it just depends on the season.
Chuck, we've talked a lot about the kids. I mean, you have, and you're right. Now that the mill's closed down, a lot of the parents are working in different different counties. That they're still living in Haywood or in Canton, but they're working in Asheville and stuff. They might not have opportunity to get back as fast, and they might miss some of the game. But we're going to be there to cover the game and give them the stats at the end of the game and give them the key points, what happened in the game after each game, give them interviews with the coaches, with the key players of the game, and that they'll get to actually feel like they were there at the game when they can't make it to the game.
Yeah, I always loved the player interviews from the little kids, from the youth sports, middle school, and stick a mic in it or, a recording device in there and start asking them questions. I'm gonna tell you, some of them will surprise you. You'll walk away going, "You watch ESPN." I can tell you that right now. He'll come up with them patent answers, and it's cute, it's funny, it's fun.
Mm-hmm. It is
so
fun.
I can't wait for this thing to go, and just you're not stifled, and just go do what you guys are going to do, and cover all everything that's in that area. It's going to be easy because it's not in the you'll be able to get everything about these kids, and more importantly, the boys and girls that are coming up, they'll never forget this.
Exactly, and
they'll never forget this.
That's what it's about. Maybe doing something, showing a kid an interview on YouTube, because we're going to be on the YouTube channel. Let this kid see themselves on YouTube, and they get excited, and that makes them want to do better and stay going the right way instead of the wrong way. That's the main reason I did this, set this up, was to help kids make a great choice in their life, to follow that good choice that they're playing sports. I've always said sports leads to 4 things: time management, discipline, teamwork, and leadership. It leads to those 4 things, and if you get a kid that's involved in sports, they can end up being something great later in life.
And Chuck, I heard you mention ESPN there, and I want to put a twist on this, and we're going to do the Milltown Sports Top 10. I'm going to put you on the spot here. Can you name your top 10 favorite Pisgah area moments when you were at the newspaper covering this area of sports?
Oh, Lord. Okay.
Oh.
All right. Well, the first year I got in there, you can't forget about the Pisgah, Jimmy Cleveland's 2005 state championship basketball team. Every single Tuscola Pisgah football game, no matter where it was at, was always a big for me. And I do recall my brother coming down, bringing them to this game, and he's like, "I've never seen anything like this." And so he loved it, and let's see, the softball state championship. I think the biggest moment was I was unable to go. We were broadcasting the game, and I was unable to go and had to give all the equipment and everything to Rhonda. Mm-hmm. And I think the call to win the state championship game by Rhonda, where the girls won the state title, I thought that was huge. That's another moment. The 2006 run of probably one of the best football teams in Pisgah history was Zach James and Cockrell and Wilson and all those guys, the Hammer, and that game against Shelby. That was another one. I could go on about this, but the relationships that you forge when you do something like this, involved, like whether you're working for a paper and working within the county, or working for the radio station, you see a lot and you're a part of it. And I always tell the people, one of the greatest individual performances or the play I've ever seen was Inman taking the field goal off the foot.
That's the one I was thinking about, Chuck.
Yeah, off the foot of the Tuscola kicker, and running it back and running along the sidelines, the Tuscola sidelines, and looking to the sidelines and watching all the Tuscola people just stand there and watch him go all the way into the end zone. And I thought, and these are just Pisgah moments, but that's what that Tuscola, the greatest high school rivalry in my mind in the country, but definitely one of the best in the South and in the state of North Carolina. But the backing, the excitement that everything is involved in. So, not to get long-winded here, but you start getting me talking about what I've seen and what I've been a part of, and my mind starts to go back, and it's not as good as it used to be. But I do remember the good old days. The crackback block on Montgomery from Shelby County by Justin Wilson, and ringing his bell, and the fight in the kids. That was the state championship game in 2006 in the fourth round.
Yeah.
And Shelby even said, Coach said later, he said, the team we played for the state title from the East wasn't even close to Pisgah Scalliper. We played the state championship in the fourth round at Pisgah High School. But softball delivered. Just in the high school area, softball delivered, and football delivered, basketball delivered. Baseball, I remember the team with Thomas Tatum and Mason Fox, and all those kids on Coach Shepard's team. That was a great run out of a core of kids. And I've always said, you watch these kids growing up, and you're wondering, if you're watching baseball, Little League Baseball, and you watch all these kids and they're going to play for Pisgah, I wonder if they'll turn into that group of kids that were sensational at Pisgah. Or you're watching youth football and you're like, my gosh, you get these kids together in the high school and they are going to be phenomenal. This might be the next great, program, 3-year run. So, it's you'll over the years will see an enormous amount of things that you'll never forget. And so that's why I'm so excited about the Milltown sports getting started for you guys.
One thing I remember, Chuck, and you didn't mention this, was when we played for the basketball state championship at Chapel Hill in the Ding Dong in 2005. How nearly the whole stadium on the bottom level, because they wouldn't let us on top level, but the whole bottom level of the Ding Dong was not light blue and white. It was sea of red.
Well,
and it was like there was a lot more Pisgah fans there than there was fans.
That was the day where the late Scott Bartuca, who was helping me out when I first got there, he had passed away from cancer since. And Randy and I, Randy, has since passed away 2 years later. But that state championship game is where Randy, I, and Scott Bartuca got thrown out of the Rams Club up there in the top where all the high donors are. We sat down and we had like 2 and 3 plates, and they thought, oh my God, they're going to eat us. And we weren't small people now.
No, y'all weren't.
And they said, you're not supposed to be here. We had a plate of food, and we just kind of looked. I said, well, I thought this was like for the media. And he goes, no, you're down there on the main floor in the tunnel. There's a little room there. I said, oh, so what do you want us to do with the food? And they asked us actually to leave it there. They'll put it back.
Really?
I said, you gotta be kidding me. Okay, that's fine. So we went down there and they had beanies and weenies. You know, we had baked beans and pigs in a blanket. I remember pigs in a... I thought, they had lobster up there and everything. So, again, if you're not following the sports, you never get these stories. You always get these. There's a story always someplace.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
Chuck, and I want to end on this note.
Okay.
As you know, a little over, it's been a year, almost 2 years, since we had Hurricane Helene devastate this area. And I know that for a couple weeks, that put the sports on a hold. But we built back better. I think we got the Pisgah Field up and running in 3 weeks, 4 weeks?
4 weeks.
And that has just been a light and during a hard time. That was sports and this community. We rallied around together, and we rallied around Pisgah sports and the other sports teams in the area. And that's something we really rallied behind and connected with, even during this hard time. And can you talk a little bit about what that means to you? Coming together during hard times, but still coming together over sports, and kind of talking about what rebuilding from this hurricane looks like, and what do you think about that?
Well, it wasn't the first time. You recall there was another remnants of a hurricane that went through and flooded everything out. And I will tell you just this in this way. A devastating event such as what has happened would destroy a community, with the exception of the people in the east side of the county. I have never seen the people rally around with a mission to recover, and we'll do it ourselves. We'll pick ourselves up. We'll move forward. And this is always what I saw in the kids growing up, coming up, and going on to the high school level. No quit, no complaining. Just go out and do what you have to do. And what would normally destroy a community will never destroy camp. In the Bethel area too. The people are unique and very special. And that is what I take from the past hurricane. Because there was another one.
It was
it was what, 2005?
2004. It was Ivan and Francis came through.
Yeah, I was
a week
in my
apart.
first year. I was in my first. I had just in 2004. That fall, I had come in July 2004 to the newspaper, and then this event happened, and that's where I met your mama. Your mama come up with her hand in a purse with a gun, because somebody told her that I was complaining that that Pisgah shouldn't be able to play at Western Carolina, and I was like, no ma'am. And I'm from Flint. I know when somebody's got, this cocked and loaded. And I just looking at her thinking, I said that I think they should not complain about it because the kids don't have a home.
Yeah.
And they won't have one for this football season. And she said, oh, well, I misunderstood. And in my mind, I kept thinking, oh, Vita, thank God. That blood, God rest her soul.
Yep.
Man, she had her hand in her purse. And from Flint, you got your hand in your pocket, you got your hand in your purse, you're holding on to something.
Yeah, and she that's the way the people are in the east end of the county. They're hardcore, dedicated football fans, and you don't mess with. You say something bad about Pisgah, they're going to come out fighting, and that's when That's where I'm from is the blue collar auto worker. Flint, Michigan's the auto industry, but it's so big that you get a lot of the same people in Flint that you do in Canton. Mm-hmm. But Canton had, for the most part, Canton was the paper mill. Blue collar.
So that was a factory worker. That was a hardcore, blue-collar, work every day, do what you have to do. And, I mean, that's just, and they loved it. And they were incredible fans of their programs. Whatever their program was, that was it. Yeah, they loved it.
Yeah, they did.
So, I mean, and so there was a connection because, you know, although Flint was a little bigger, he didn't have it as strong. Canton's the most unique place I've ever seen in my lifetime, in anywhere. You know, the great academics, the way the high schools run, you got great kids, great administrators, great teachers, and then, you know, great coaches.
Yeah.
And then you got these kids that you just love coaching. You know, and as a fan, I love watching. Remember, we used to always, you know, find a place, you know, let's go out. Where's the baseball? Let's go up to this field and watch these kids play.
Yeah.
They played, remember, in the old place, right on the other side of the armory, there was
Yeah.
a baseball field.
Yeah.
And we would go just right in there and go, let's watch this game and see this and laugh at these kids playing ball. I mean to tell you, it was funny to watch these kids
It
do their
is.
thing. So,
But it's pure. It's pure and it's honest. It's for the love of the game. That's why they play.
right.
Chuck,
But you're going to give these kids something because you're going to go, you're going to interview somebody, you know, some 8-year-old or 10-year-old, and he's going to go, I got interviewed by Milltown Sports. Never forget it.
Yeah.
And that right there helps kids love the game because
Exactly.
they're playing it. So, I mean, I wish you the huge success in doing this thing.
And we
It's
appreciate that.
finally come to fruition, and I hope it will be great because you guys have got the great idea and you got great fans to support it.
Good.
and Chuck, something you said there, and I just want to parrot that. We really do want to thank the coaches, athletic directors, principals, and everyone in the school system, and especially people who run the youth leagues, because they've been great in supporting us and helping us with anything we need. And we just want to thank those people for everything they do, and they're helping us have access to things and be able to come into the programs and work with them to help get this out. So we want to thank all the athletic directors, coaches, people in the youth league. We just want to thank everybody for what they're doing to help us with our mission. And with that is our Chief Advisory Officer, Chuck Feibernitz. Thank you, Chuck, for coming out and talking to us.
All right. You're welcome. Have a good day.
Thank
too.
you.
Yes, and Milltown Sports isn't just another sports page. We want to become the home for local sports coverage in Western North Carolina. Whether you're a player chasing your dreams, a coach building a program, a parent supporting your child, or a fan who loves Friday nights, we hope you'll love to join us on this journey. Make sure to follow us on social media, which those pages will be up as soon as possible. Share this podcast with your friends, and keep an eye out because football season is right around the corner. Thanks for listening to the very first episode of Milltown Sports Show, and we will see you next time.